I want to ask you what you think about baptism being the means of salvation.
Well, Christians do disagree over this. You are correct. I don't think baptism is necessary for salvation, and we'd have to spend some time exegeting those passages, but I'll give you, I think, the clearest way of showing it's not necessary. In 1 Corinthians chapter 1, Paul is writing to the church at Corinth saying, why are you guys following different people? Are you baptized into Paul? Are you baptized into Apollos? No, you're baptized into Jesus. You ought to be following Jesus. And he said, when I came there, I don't even remember who I baptized, except for a couple of people. In fact, I did not come to baptize. I came to preach the gospel. And then if you go to Romans 1, he says, I'm not ashamed of the gospel, for the gospel saves. So in 1 Corinthians 1, he separates the gospel from baptism. And in Romans 1, he says the gospel is what saves you.
What gospel would that be?
The gospel that Jesus came, lived the perfect life in your place, died a brutal death, which means he took your punishment upon himself, and by trusting in him, you're not only forgiven, but you're given his righteousness. Baptism is a sign you've done that. It's something you ought to do. Just like when he talks about in Romans 6, you're buried with Christ in baptism and raised to new life in his resurrection. It's a symbol of what Jesus did, that Jesus went into the tomb and then rose out of the tomb. So I don't think those passages you mentioned, although some people make that case like you made, show that baptism is necessary for salvation. I think it's something we ought to do, but it's not necessary, because if you have to do something in order to be saved, it's no longer grace.